questions.
Thank you, and I'm going to call on Congresswoman Norton to go first. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. GSA is responsible for the efficient and effective functioning of our government. When its budget is slashed, the consequences are far-reaching and, more often than not, counterproductive. In fact, funding cuts to GSA translate to increased expenses for the American people, such as those caused by deferred maintenance of federal property. Administrator Carnahan, in fiscal year 2023, 8 of the 17 major repairs and alterations projects that GSA requested in the President's budget were resubmissions because the projects did not receive funding when they were originally requested. Is that correct?
Correct.
And in fiscal 2024, 13 out of the 17 projects were resubmissions. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Administrator Carnahan, is it correct that the cost of resubmitted projects increased by $300 million due to the delays caused by Congress's failure to fund them?
I think that would be the low end, yes.
House Republicans' fiscal year 2024 Financial Services and General Government Appropriations Bill, which funds GSA, would cut $715 million from the Federal Buildings Fund. This is $1.6 billion below the administration's request for the fund. Administrator Carnahan, how does this lack of funding lead to waste and mismanagement of taxpayer dollars?
Yeah, thank you for that question. I referred in my statement to the Federal Buildings Fund and how crucial that was for our ability to consolidate, sell buildings, and save money. If you think about in your own life, if you have 2 locations, if you're a business and have 2 locations, and decide it's time to shrink into one, you usually need a little bit of money to maybe upgrade and modernize or change and reconfigure the one building that you're going to bring everybody into. That's exactly what we're talking about here. You can't get rid of the old building that you know is going to save you a lot of money if there is not a way to upfront have money to invest in the improvement of the one you're going to keep. And if you think about that across our portfolio, it's happening over and over again. The single biggest impediment, as the GAO said, to downsizing and consolidating and saving billions of dollars for taxpayers is access to upfront money that Congress intends to come from the Federal Buildings Fund. Congress solved this problem, and it worked for decades. And it's only been over the past 12 years that over $1 billion a year has been siphoned off to use for other things. We're asking for that money to be able to then have long-term planning to do what Chair Comer and I totally agree needs to happen, which is optimize our footprint.
The Republicans' bill also fails to include any new funding for the Technology Modernization Fund, which is critical to improving and securing federal IT systems. Administrator Carnahan, when Democrats' American Rescue Plan provided $1 billion to the Technology Modernization Fund, is it true that federal agencies submitted proposals requesting more than $3.5 billion in support for the technology modernization projects?
Yes, it's turned out to be one of the smartest investments Congress could make in modernizing technology, and it's been very popular among agencies because it's a way to get money faster. Given that technology changes so quickly, they need, the speed of need is that they be able to get access to money, and TMF helps with that.
What will happen if if Republicans succeed in barring funding to the Technology Modernization Fund in fiscal year 2024?
I think the primary issue will be just delay. We're living in a world where technology changes weekly, if not faster, and the only way the federal government can keep up is by having access to funding to respond at the speed of need. The TMF does that, and if there's a decision made to stop funding it, it will go back to the 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 years that it sometimes takes to get funding for technology.
Thank you. My time has expired.
Gentlelady.